What's going on, y'all? So, we back again for another episode of Marriage Boot Camp, Family Edition. This is episode 2. We're gonna go ahead and just get started with this shit. So, we start off where we left off last week with Amber going off on Dr. V about how she felt as if that they triggered her because she used to be an addict and everything, and I'm just like, ugh, bitch, what the fuck ever. So then Dr. V pretty much had to let her know that, she needs to know that at the end of the day, they weren't trying to do that. They were trying to help her out and get her to understand the issues at hand. But of course, Amber wasn't going to follow that shit. And that's why they had their room look like a kid's room, because they're too damn immature. And that's just what it was. So today, their assignment was about fear and how fear holds them back from letting each other know how they really feel about each other. So later that morning, Chrissy pretty much forgives Amber for the whole situation of their fight from last week's episode due to how badly they felt bad about her due to her sob story. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well, even though I applaud Chrissy for being mature enough to not hold that against Amber and decided to give her another chance, I applaud Chrissy for, being a woman and giving her a second chance for her mistake. But honey, it wouldn't be me. It really wouldn't be me. It really wouldn't. Chrissy, you so much better than me, because had Amber came at me like that, bitch, it would have been over forever. It would have been over forever. Fuck all that. Because I wouldn't trust a bitch after that. Couldn't be like that, girl, I'll fuck you up. But anywho, moving on from that, they get told to go outside where they have like a little like wood booth where they get assigned to their first drill, which is to step inside the booth and pretty much discuss how they really feel. And nobody else can hear them from outside, which is the trick, which I already knew that there was a reason for that, but we'll get to that near the end of the episode, or near the end of this review. So pretty much, as Dr. Ish was pretty much discussing the assignment, Jim pretty much is in denial about opening this shit up. And throughout this whole episode, it's like Jim, Brandy's father, Guy, Matt, and Amber were the main motherfuckers that really got on my nerves. And this is why. Jim and Mama have pretty much been literally acting like that they don't give a fuck and that they're not participating, they're not opening up, they're not respecting the experience, they're not respecting the other housemates, they're not respecting Dr. Ish and Dr. V. Even though I don't really like nor trust Dr. Ish and Dr. V like that, but still, you gotta understand that you chose to do this. You chose to be here. You chose to do this shit with Chrissy. So at the end of the day, if y'all didn't want to do this in the first place, or if y'all didn't want to participate, y'all should have stayed your asses home. The fuck? Y'all should have stayed home if y'all didn't want to participate. But the fact that y'all chose to do this, y'all there, so y'all have to participate. Don't leave Chrissy in the dust like that. So we go ahead and go through each family member over, who goes through the booth. First we have who the fuck? Okay, so Brandy and her father, they pretty much go first. Brandy opens up to how she feels discouraged that her father looks at her like she's a hoe, she a tramp, she a trick, she's a this, she's a that, and all that other stuff, and how he feels disgusted about her, and all she wants from him is for him to look at her as his daughter. And of course, he feels disgusted based off of all the tabloids that he read about her and how he believes that this is the person that Brandy has become. And, that's a mess. And my whole thing is, nigga, you've been reading too much tabloids. That's your problem. You keep believing everything that everybody else is saying about your daughter. And it's like, how are you going to sit here and believe something that you don't even know the full story of? Like, who the fuck are you to want to sit here and judge your daughter off of what you've read from somebody else's point of view that they don't even know the whole story of? Like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. So then we have the whole fuck up crew of Teen Mom. And, Brandy. Amber pretty much is going off, spitting and spraying her hot ass breath all over the damn wall of the box. Matt is, Matt's just there. And then her mama, Tanya, she's just opening up about how she felt bad that she kind of let herself out to be this lady who is discouraged by how she doesn't stand up for herself and how she's quiet because she sees so much of herself in Amber because, like Dr. Ish said later on in the episode, she didn't learn all this aggression on her own. This aggression came from somewhere. And of course it came from her mama because her mama used to be abusive and just a hothead. So that's understandable, bitch. I knew that shit all along. So while they were going off, we get Chrissy and Mama pretty much arguing over their personal issues, and then of course they end up becoming next. Chrissy goes in. She goes in about how she feels that it's not okay for her to feel like that she got to fight for something that doesn't give her the respect that she deserves. She feels as if that Jim and Mama are like giving her a hard time and how she is tired and bone tired about how she is fighting over two grown motherfuckers who don't even respect her or even give her the damn time. Excuse me. And shit like that. So, she opens up, and of course, you got Jim and Mama who's just sitting there. I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. What is she talking about in there? I don't even know. I don't even know. Not giving a damn. Not giving a shit at all. And at this point, I'm just like, girl, this is not okay. This is y'all's attitude is exactly what the fuck that Chrissy was talking about. And at this point, I'm just not here for it. I'm just not here for it at all. So then we got Renee. And I feel like throughout this whole episode, I feel like this episode was mostly about Renee and her sisters. Because Renee steps in and she pretty much feels like that Lana doesn't trust her and that Lana kind of categorizes her as this bitch and shit like that. And Lana feels like that Renee is a mentally unstable sister and how she excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a bit tired, but I'm gonna get through this video, so just bear with me. And how she feels as if that Renee is not really trustworthy to make it out on her own. And I kind of figured out what the issues really is with the sisters. The real issue is really between Renee and Lana, and Jana's kind of in the middle, who has her personal issues about Renee that are not as big as Lana's. So I understand what the real issue is between them. So with that being said, after they got done and shit, Renee pretty much pops off and starts going off at Lana about how she feels as if that the whole time she kind of categorized her as a fucking unstable sister and stuff like that, and how she never knows when to give anybody a break, and her and Renee, they pretty much go back and forth, and then Dr. V comes in and she's like, look, is this really gonna work out between the two of y'all? Like, shut the fuck up, okay? Just shut the fuck up. So, meanwhile, downstairs we get Lana, Chrissy, and Brandy, discussing about what they've talked about in the booths. And, at this point, it's like they were bonding over how Brandy was worried about what her father might have said. And then when Chrissy and Brandy bonded over, their personal issues and how they both seek change within this experience, here comes Brandy's father running his mouth and making rude-ass unnecessary comments once again about, okay, I see she used to be a lesbian. And at this point, that's where I'm just like, look, you are the reason why you and your daughter have issues, okay? It's not Brandy's fault, okay? It's your fault. Because at the end of the day, you categorize your daughter as a hoe and as a cheap tramp based off of the shit that you read, and you want to sit here and just... I cannot stand people like that. I cannot stand people that just sits here and literally degrades and talks mad shit about somebody and has so much shit to say, but then it's like, nigga, what about you? Is that how you feel about yourself and you're just reflecting your feelings onto your daughter, bitch? Is that what the fuck it is, bitch? And then Chrissy made a good ass point in the confession. You talk about she used to be in relationships with other women. That's fine, and that's all fine and well, but at the end of the day, does that make her less of your daughter? And it doesn't. It does not make her less of your daughter. And that's what you need to understand, guy. You need to understand that at the end of the day, Brandy is your daughter. And she is always going to be your little girl. Just because bitches want to sit here and make up stories and accusations about her does not mean that you need to believe that shit. Unless you get a real confirmation from your own daughter, since she's the source of what all those tabloids that you've been reading is about. Don't believe all the shit that they're telling you. Because that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they were paid to do. They're making money off of dumb bitches like you. And I'm just not here for it. I'm not here for it. I am not here for this shit. So then Dr. Ish and Dr. V, discuss about how Mama and Jim are not participating and how, they're not here for the experience. Meanwhile, Amber and Matt are getting into another argument, pretty much arguing over who's more aggressive, who's more angry, who's more this, who's more that. I'm like, bitch, do you have anything else to argue about? Like, seriously. And then she's like, I love him, but he needs to change. Like, I fucking love him, but I just don't know why. Like, girl, bitch, bye. Ain't nobody got time for all that shit. You an actress, okay? You are a laid, fake-ass, paid actress who really needs a motherfucking Oscar performance for your shit, because, girl, I'm not fucking buying it. Like, bitch, I can tell you are already aggressive, but whatever. Lana and Renee were pretty much still arguing, and Chrissy tells them that, they have every right to let each other know about how they feel, but at the end of the day, they need to understand each other's lives from each other's perspectives. So if Renee were to switch to see how life really is and see what her sisters have been seeing, Renee would understand where her sisters' issues are. But obviously nobody else was here for what Chrissy had to say. So I'm just like, girl, Chrissy, don't even waste your breath on these hoes, because they're just not going to listen to you. They're not going to understand what the fuck you have to say. They're not going to open up to your open-mindedness. So don't even give them the time of the day. So then we get Dr. Ishq meeting over to Matt about how Matt feels as if that that Amber kind of goes off and how quickly she changed on him, about how she runs his mouth on domestic violence, and that pretty much hurt his punk ass feelings. But at the end of the day, what he needs to understand is that he needs to own up to his choices and understand that he's at the boot camp for a reason, and that he needs to finish what the fuck he started. And that's what he needs to do. Stop letting all these people get to you like that, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect how you really are. And it's going to define who you is. Okay? So at this point, before we get on to the next drill, Chrissy is upset with Mama and Jim not pulling their own weight around the house, and at this point, I'm just like, Chrissy, just let them go so that them two can figure that shit out on their own. So this encourages Dr. Ish and Dr. V to gather everyone together so that they can have them meet fucking Judge Toller. I cannot with her, okay? I cannot stand her. It's something about her that's just like... Because there were moments in the past marriage boot camp seasons where I literally wanted to jump across the screen and just beat the fuck out of her. Like, I really wanted to just choke the shit out of her. Because how much that bitch really got on my motherfucking nerves. Sorry, y'all. I had to adjust the computer real quick because my legs got tired. But, anywho, so she pretty much lets them know that because of how complex and how annoying everyone was, she feels as if that she's not going to be the one to decide who passes and who gets to be punished. But instead, they are, which prompts them to their next challenge, which is for them to step inside this dark room where they have to discuss, where each member have to discuss what they said in the booth, or while blindfolded, or in the next 6 seconds, a glass box full of snakes will be released on them. I said, you know what? It would not be me. But we're going to get into this. So Renee and her sisters were first, and Renee was the first to open up about how she felt as if that Lana and Jen are not understanding her, and how she felt as if that due to her past drug addictions that they classified her as a unstable sister, which she's really not. She was very troubled, and she didn't get the support that she needed when she was, going through those dark times. And at that point, it was understandable, and that impressed everybody enough to where Judge Toller passes them. So then we have Brandy and her father, and they pretty much... Her father opens up about how she said that she was an escort, and Brandy blows the fuck up and tells him that she is not an escort and how she will never be. And at this point, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Your father's just going to continue reading these damn tabloids and believing what everybody says instead of believing Brandy. And at this point, I'm just over it. So of course they pass. Then we get fucking Team Mom, and of course Amber runs her mouth about how Matt is hitting her and shit, and how he is very abusive towards her and shit. And at this point, Tanya speaks up a little bit about how Matt needs to stop if this is true, but Matt was not here for it. He denied everything that they were saying, and the girls passed, but Matt didn't. So he got the snakes released on him, and I enjoyed the look on his face when that big ass snake was crawling up on his ankle like that. Bitch, I was all the way here for it. So at that point, they let his punk ass go. And then lastly, we have Chrissy, Jim, and Mama. The second that they opened the blindfolds, Jim and Mama were out. They literally left the box before shit even started. And then Mama... I ain't gonna lie, even though they both ain't shit, and that they were both disrespectful, I ain't gonna lie, I would have done the same thing had that been me. Girl, please, put me in a box full of snakes. Bitch, it's gonna be you and me. So at that point, Mama goes upstairs to her room while Judge Toller tells Jim that he needs to participate, and then he starts going off on all of them, saying that he feels like that he's not getting the right exercises and the right proposals that he needs to help him understand that he needs to change and that he needs to start pulling his own weight. So then Dr. Ish pulls a fast one and plays the recording of Chrissy opening up about how she really feels when she was in the booth. And this quickly switches Jim up to where he understands how Chrissy feels, and that he's over here like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that's how you feel. Really? All these years that you were together, and now you finally realize that this is how she's feeling? Girl, get out of here. I was not here for it, and neither was Chrissy, because when the whole exercise was over, Chrissy pretty much gave him the silent treatment, and I was all the way here for it. Ignore that motherfucker, because all these years you should have known that this is how she was feeling. Bitch, fuck out of here. And then we end the episode off with Matt and Amber pretty much going off about each other over the whole situation with them being, domestically abused and shit. And then Renee comes in Amber's defense, talking about if you really did hurt her, or if you put your hands on her, I have no respect for you. And then she escorts Amber out of the room. And at that point, I had mixed feelings over that situation, because of the fact that no man should ever have to put his hands on a female. But because it's Amber, it's like, I honestly don't really care too much about that, but then again I do, because of the situation itself, which is why I have mixed feelings about it. But it is what it is. But child, that was Marriage Boot Camp. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that shit, and I will see you guys later. Bye.